Okay, guys, so they come in, I think I said 3 o'clock, and they're like, well, we got to increase it because you're still 1 centimeter. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Please, y'all are killing me because it was really, really hurting so bad. So they increased it. That pain hurted so bad. It was bad. I'm not trying to scare you guys because everybody's body is different. Seriously. I'm sorry, I'm sitting on something. Everybody's body is different. Some people can ouch, I'm sitting on a sheet. Some people can handle labor, but that wasn't for me. I wasn't trying to be like Miss Diva, Philly Diva. What you said, don't be no hero. I wasn't trying to be no hero. I wasn't trying to be Xena, the Princess Warrior. I wasn't trying to be Jonah Arc, nothing like that. I was like, y'all got to give me some damn medicine, for real. Because when 3 o'clock hit and increased my Pitocin, the pain got even more intense. It just kept getting so intense. Like, words can't describe the pain. It felt like somebody was in my back and just twisting and turning and forcing knives and everything in my back. And it was just the way that my contractions came. Like, it would come up slow and then it would increase and then it would come down. So they increased to my Pitocin at 3 o'clock. They come back and check me at 4. I have only dilated 1 centimeter. This is 4 in the morning. So now I'm 2 centimeters dilated. They're like, we're going to have to increase it again. Y'all trying to kill me. That's what, you know what? Y'all trying to kill me. Now, by this time, I am boohoo crying. The pain was so intense that I am shaking. Like, my body was just shaking. Like, I had the shakes really, really bad because of the pain. I had no pain medicine at all by this time. So now it's like, what, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? I'm 3 hours into labor and my body is just shaking profusely. Is that a word? And then my mom had been there and Nate had been there. Now when my contractions would come, Nate would massage my back, like where it was at, and his hands, he has really good hands, because when he would do it, it would help ease it. And then my mom was sitting there, she would let me squeeze her hand and she was just coaching me through it, telling me to breathe and things like that. And so she was very helpful. But the thing was, it didn't help is that monitor right there, they could see, Nate and my mom could see when contractions were coming. So I would like try to rest in between them. My mom was like, you need to rest between your contractions so you can get prepared for the next one. They would announce when the next one was coming. They're like, up, here it comes, here it comes. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't, you know, I mean, it's like telling me I'm about to get shot. Anyways, Bella's waking up. I'm trying not to, maybe I need to be quiet. Okay. Anyways, so, she might be ready for her feeding. So anyway, so 4 o'clock gets, so by then I'm only 2 centimeters at 3. 4 o'clock gets here, still not dilating, they increase me. 5 o'clock gets here, I have finally, 5 o'clock gets here, and they're like, well, we'll check you to see if you're dilated. Because my mom, by that time, I had vomited. I had threw up. That's how bad they hurt it. I vomited all in the little pan. I think I vomited at the 4 o'clock one. But I vomited all over the place in this pan. And I had the shakes. They hurt it so bad. That's how bad it was for me. My mom was like, okay, y'all got to do something. Y'all keep increasing her Pitocin, but that's not doing anything, because if her body is stressed out, then she's not going to dilate. Her body needs to relax. And that's why I'm so happy that my mom, she works in the medical profession. And that's why I really wanted her there, because she's able to decipher and, you know, the code nurse and medicine talk. I don't really know all that, but my mom does. So she went out there and was like, y'all got to do something, because if her body's stressed out, she's not going to dilate. It's going to be slow like that. So I need to give her something. So by then, I think, what did I say? It was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They checked me and it was like, she's still just 2 centimeters, but if we can get her to 3, then we'll go ahead and give her epidural. I did not hit 3 centimeters until 10 a.m., y'all. 10 a.m. They had, from midnight to 10 a.m., they had did a total of, they had did basically these procedures of increasing my Pitocin several times, I was in so much pain, threw up, everything. Finally, I hit 3 centimeters. 10 o'clock came. She checked me. She's like, "You're good 3." She's like, "We can go ahead and get the epidural order, and I can give you some Nubane." And what Nubane does is it kind of takes the edge off the pain. You are kind of like unaware of your surroundings and where you are and who you are, and it's like it drugs you all the way up. You just really don't care. You can feel them, but it allows you to. It just takes the edge off of it. So she gave me the Nubane, and I felt the contractions, but I was able to breathe through them. And so that was cool, but I need you to take away the pain. So the anesthesiologist came in. Oh, I gotta tell y'all this other part real quick. So my boyfriend was there, my mom was there, and my best friend was there. And like I said, I really didn't want her to come to like kind of towards the end, but she was there, and that means a lot to me, because she's Bella's godmother. But what happened was my mom and my boyfriend had this routine going, and they're doing so good, and she came in and she was trying to help and talk me through it and all this stuff, and she tried to massage me, and I hope I wasn't mean, but I remember I kind of smacked her hand away, and I was like, "No, Nathaniel, rub my back." And I was like, "Nathaniel, circles." He would be trying to rub circles. And I was like, "Down, down, down, over, over, over." I was like ordering, and she was trying to hold my hand. I was like, "No, I want my mommy. I want my mom." Like I went from calling my mom to mommy. That's how bad that shit hurted. Anyways, I want to make sure I told y'all that so you guys can feel where I'm coming from and feel the intensity of my story. But it all is real. So she was like, "I'll just be the one to hold the dish for the throw up." So I threw up, and she was so good. But that's the support that I had in there. All right. Anyway, so another thing I thought was funny, I think I'll tell you guys, is they were, keep in mind, everybody was there at midnight. So like as I was going in my labor and before contraction would come, my mom got my hand on one side, Nate's my back on the other side. As soon as the contraction would go away, both of their heads would go down like this. They would get to sleep. And then another one would come and they would wake up and do it all over again. It was so funny because they kept doing it over and over again. Okay, I wanted to make sure I told y'all that tidbit because that was important. All right. Anyway, so 10 o'clock gets here, 10 in the morning. She checks me. She's like, "Okay, you're good 3." She gave me the Nubane, the anesthesiologist. All of this happens at 10:15 though, because she checked me at 10, and at 10:15 is when everybody came in to give me the drugs and stuff. Anesthesiologist comes in, and they give me my epidural. And they was like, "She needs to sit still. No one could be in the room." I was like, "I want my mom in here." So my mom stayed in there. And I held my mom's hand, and I held the nurse's hand. And the nurse I had was so nice. Like, I was probably mean to her. Like, I wasn't like the mean, like, patient. I was just in so much pain that I was frustrated. But I didn't cuss anybody out. I didn't disrespect anyone. It was more so like I just felt helpless. Like no one was trying to help me or stop the pain. I felt like no one cared. That's what I felt like. And I felt like I was just going to die, really. But she just was only doing what she was supposed to do, and that was wait until I was 3 centimeters. Anyways, so I get my epidural and things like that, and when I say that was heaven on earth, that was the best drug in the world that anybody could ever have, because it took everything away. I didn't feel nothing, and they increased my Pitocin to like double the amount of the increases that they increased me to try to get me going, because remember, my water had broke and I can't go much longer, you know what I mean? So anyway, so they gave me the epidural, and I was able to rest because I was gonna have to push in a few hours, I thought. So anyway, so I get the epidural, and I fall asleep. I get to sleep. Everybody gets to rest. They come and check me, and I'm increasing in my centimeters. They didn't come and check me for a while though. But long story short, from here, I basically was able to rest and sleep. I have very slurred vision. I was telling them thank you, thank you, thank you probably a million gazillion times. And I didn't know my name. But hey, it felt great. It took everything away. I was numb from my feet all the way up to the middle of my back, and I didn't feel anything. And then my mom and Nate would be looking at the contraction thing, the monitor, and they're like, "Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, that's a big one." And I'm thinking to myself, hell, I don't know, but if it was a big one, I think I probably would have literally turned into Satan's wife, hopped on top of the bed, hopped through the bed out the window, hopped on one of those poles, and pulled the baby out myself. Because that's, for me, my experience of how painful it was. But the epidural took everything away. I sat so still for that thing because I wanted the epidural. I was crying for the epidural. I was screaming for the epidural. They have people, other ladies delivering babies like down the hall, and the doctor who came in to deliver my baby, he had left the door open, and this girl was screaming her head off, and he was like, "That's what you sound like when you don't have an epidural." And I was like, "Well, shoot, I want the epidural." He said, "Well, your epidural is starting to run out." And I looked up to the, where the IV is at, and it was running out. I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Because I knew they had increased my Pitocin. I was like, "Y'all need to do something. Y'all need to get me another epidural up in here, because if y'all don't, it's going to be hell." I told the doctor, "I will turn into Satan. I'm telling you, you need to do something." So they went and got my other epidural, the other epidural, and refilled it. So I was thankful for that. Okay. I was 8 centimeters at 5 o'clock. I hit 10 centimeters at 7 o'clock, and this is PM. By now I'm hitting 20 hours of labor. I had basically about, it's on my Facebook page, I think I said 10 hours of hard labor in my back without any pain, and then the rest was epidural. All right. 7 o'clock gets here, and they're like, "Well, you're 10 centimeters. They come and set up the room. They get all the baby stuff together." I'm getting all emotional, like, "Oh my God, I'm finally about to get to meet my daughter and everything like that." And they're like, "Okay, we need you to do some practice pushes." So I pushed, and they were like, "Oh no, her head is right there. So do not push anymore," because, they can't deliver the baby. The doctor was not there, and come to find out, my doctor that I had been seeing, he was not going to be able to deliver my baby because he had to go out of town for an emergency. So the doctor that I had to have deliver my baby, they're all in affiliation with each other. But he was really nice. He liked the room dim, so he had the lights all down and everything like that. He told some jokes to try to ease the mood and things like that and relax. So they were, before he came in, they was like, "Okay, well, he's not going to be here for another 20 minutes. So we'll try a couple more pushes, but we can't, push too much more because we don't want the baby to come." So it asked me to push, and the way that I was pushing, I guess I wasn't pushing from my butt. And remember, I can't feel anything by now. I can't feel I can't feel nothing. So this one nurse was like, the RN was like, "What I tell patients is to say moo in your mind, like when you're pushing, say moo, and that will help you push from your butt." And amazingly, it worked. So they had my legs on the stirrups. I had my hands behind my legs, and Nate and my mom were on one side of me. And so then they were like, "Okay, you gotta inhale, hold, and then push out and say move inside." And that's what I did. And it's like, "That's the way you push." So I was pushing right. The doctor comes in, they dim the lights. I probably pushed a total of 10 times, you guys. With the doctor, I pushed about 5 times. And then the last push, the doctor's like, "Okay, I need you to look at me, and I need you to breathe like how I'm breathing, and then push," because it's important, I guess. Because I don't think she had an umbilical cord around her neck. But he says it's just important that I breathe the way he told me to. I guess they're trying to help me not to tear so much or something. I don't know. So anyway, keep in mind they have a mirror at the top, and they said that would help me. This is before my last push, but they said bring down the mirror because that'll motivate me to push more, and so I can see her. So they brought the mirror down, and I could see her head, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she has so much hair." So so I was looking, I was pushing, and then after that, when I got to the last push, he said, "Okay, I need you to look at me." So me and the doctor was like this. And so I pushed like he said, and then it happened so fast. She came out, and he laid her on me. They was concerned before because they said when they checked my dilation before, that they noticed that she might have pooped inside or whatever. And the Pitocin they were giving me, I mean, what the hell do you expect? Not only are you working on my body, but that's working on her too. So she probably was getting stressed the hell out in there too. So you probably scared my baby. So they said if she doesn't come out crying or anything like that, then she might have some inside of her lungs. So they'll have to take her, and I won't be able to hold her. But she came out squealing. She came out crying. They put her right on me. I was crying. It just happened automatically. It wasn't like no tears. It was like, you know. So then they took her, and then they like stitched me up. I had one tear, they said, but when I had to go to the doctor today for something, and they said I had 2 tears. So I had 2 stitches. They took her. They weighed her, and at 7:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, September 25th, 2011, Bella Rose was born. She was 6 pounds and 15 ounces and 21 inches long. And the joy of my life, the love of my life, I have fallen deeply and madly in love with this little girl. And that was basically it after that. And so after I delivered the baby, they basically, I wanted to breastfeed. I did not want to bottle feed her at all. I wanted to give that a try. So they let me keep her that whole time for about 2 hours. I held her. We attempted the breastfeeding. It was a little hard at first, but she latched on. It wasn't hard for her at all. She latched on. I fed her a little bit, and then they had to take her. Wait, no, they didn't take her. So they put her in her little crib thing that they have at the hospital. And then they had to switch me to a different bed. And they cleaned me up. They came and cleaned me up and everything like that. And by now, the epidural is still, like, they had already they took out the epidural. They took out all the, different IVs except for one because they needed my uterus to go down. So they made me stay on Pitocin. But they said now that she's out, it's not going to hurt that bad. Word. Anyways, but they turned down the amount that they were giving me. Okay, so we go to my room because you won't stay in the labor and delivery room, but at the hospital I was at, we went to my actual room, my suite that I was staying in. So then we go in there. It's me, Nate and the baby and the nurses. We go up to my room, and then we get all situated. They bathe her, take care of her, do all that good stuff, and then we bond. And my mom stayed the whole time. My sister stayed the whole time. It was just like an amazing experience. But what was most amazing was how my mom and my boyfriend, they stayed with me that whole entire time. I think she's waking up. And it says, that has a lot to say about life, period, is that you go through these really, really hard times, and it's so hard, and it seems like you can't do it. Because there was times in the labor where I was like, I want to give up. I can't do this. But I did. And my mom stayed there, and Nate stayed there the whole time. So just with life, you can get through anything and everything. And then with the different situations that happen to you within your life, can come out something very, very beautiful. Thus my story about labor. So in the end, I got a beautiful gift. She's a sweet little girl, and I'm happy. And I would do it all over again with the pain and all, as long as I get my epidural. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and meet Bella, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my postpartum video. She is sleeping right now, but she wakes up in between her sleeps. And so she's laying across my bed. And here she is. Alright guys, so that's her. Hi Princess Bella. And I will show you guys her again in the next video. And that's it. Labor and delivery.